Appeals and Negotiations Committee. It is now, we don't have a clock, 7:26. Roll call, please, Madam Clerk. Would you like me to do it, or do you want to do it?
Were you asking me to do the roll call?
No. Oh, well, who does it, Stu?
Okay. Alderman Hayes.
Present.
Alderman Kirkwood. Present. Alderman Mosio. Alderman Seeger.
Present.
Mayor Taylor.
Present.
You have a quorum.
Thank you. Can I have a first and a second for a motion to approve the minutes of the January 17th, 2023? Okay.
Seconded.
Okay. So that was Alderman Kirkwood and Alderman Seeger. Item A, new business. Can I have a first and a second?
First.
Alderman Hayes, Alderman Kirkwood, second. An ordinance amending Chapter 2, Article 6, Division 2, Section 2-458, Procedure for Contract Bids. Any questions to the motion? No? Roll call, please, man. Oh,
Mayor, I have a question.
sure.
Can you tell me exactly why are we doing a difference in terms of the procedure that we once was using?
Sure. You want to? Okay, I'll let you answer it.
Yeah. Thank you for your question, Alderman Kirkwood. The issue came up because there are bids that are taken by a number of different departments, including water plant and public works, and having the bid openings be far away from where they're actually conducting their business was determined not to be particularly streamlined. And so the process will be that the bids will either be held in the Department of Finance for things happening within City Council, or at Public Works for public works items and engineering items that are being bid. All records of bids, well, all bid openings will remain open, and all bid records, including the originals, will be returned to the clerk's office to be preserved as local records, preserved under the Local Records Act's requirements.
But previously, wasn't the bids open in the clerk's office
They were all open here on council floor.
with the clerk?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. And so now, and the purpose of making this change is to do what?
To make it easier for the other public works and those that are not right here in City Hall to be able to do it at their facility and then record it with the clerk's office. Because it's not always easy for them to be here and see what's going on. They have to watch it on live video. It's more conducive for them right there to be able to do it. And that was something that came up as a discussion in our operation meetings.
I have a question.
Sure.
I'm not on the committee.
Go ahead.
So each department is going to have their own bid opening? Is that what you're saying?
Not necessarily each department. It'll be City Hall will have theirs, Public Works.
So Public Works will have theirs at Public Works.
Water plant will do the same thing, and fire could do the same thing. Does that answer questions?
Yes, I just don't understand how that will make it a better streamlined situation when it was all done here previously.
You want to? Yeah.
I could just comment real quick. It seems to me that the idea is to, the department heads, say the water plant, should be opening their own bids, because it makes the most sense for the water plant to take a look at the bids, evaluate the bids, certainly submit them back to the clerk for proper record keeping. But it doesn't make a lot of sense to drag the water department all the way to City Hall for a bid opening or not. And it makes one less stop, it seems like, in the bid opening process. So it's just yet another step to try to create some efficiency. It sounds like most of the bids will still be open in City Hall, but Public Works, the water plant, and fire will not be. Is that my understanding? Is that correct? That's not.
Chief, you want to talk about it? Because I don't see the staff here for that department.
That's okay. And it also assists
Dr. Alderman Kirkwood. It also assists with scheduling. Now we do not have to have multiple departments involved. It can streamline the processes. What was stated is that the water department can just schedule their bids to be opened and open them. There is no requirement for us to have them here or have them done by the city clerk's office. That is the reasoning. We do not have to schedule. One department can schedule their bid opening and have them and only have to communicate with the vendors. That is the reason. Why involve other departments when they have a busy workload when there is no need to do that?
Again, this was something that was brought up as a staff thing that they thought was best for them. And that was brought up at an operationals meeting.
All right, thank you, Mayor.
I- So this is the ordinance that we're doing?
Yes.
So we're actually changing an ordinance that was already in place?
Yeah, it's
It's
an
an
amendment.
amendment to it.
It's an amendment to the provisions, purchasing provisions of the city code.
Does that make sense? Okay. Roll call, please. Madam Clerk, roll call.
I'm sorry, it's usually not me. Hold on.
Okay.
Alderman Hayes.
Aye.
Alderman Kirkwood.
Aye.
Alderman Mozio. Alderman Seeger.
Aye.
Mayor Taylor.
Aye. Item B, can I have a first?
So moved.
Okay, Alderman Hayes, a second. Alderman Seeger. An ordinance amending Chapter 21, Article 3, Division 1, Section 21-126.1, parking, stopping, and standing of vehicles prohibited at certain times. And what this is in reference to is particularly the schools. So that for drop-off times, we've talked about this already. You want to expand on that? I mean,
I believe that it's a limitation on parking around, and possibly the police department might be able to speak to this a little bit better. Fortunately, I do not have this particular ordinance
Chief
printed
Navarro,
out.
do you want to address this one? This was something that, as you all know, we've had a lot of complaints about people stopping in front of the schools and just dropping their children off in the middle of the street. So this would prohibit some of that.
Yes, so we did, we do have no parking signs or stopping in front of the schools, which the vehicles that were actually parking there were causing a backlog and within those neighborhoods. There was an ordinance that was in place that even though we had those signs up, indicated that they were allowed to pull up, stop, drop off, and pick up students. Although we had these signs that were clearly marked, there was a prior ordinance that indicated that parents were allowed to do it. So this clarifies that they cannot stop, drop off, pick up students wherever we have signs posted. Yes, sir.
But certainly, coming through the East Campus area, that happens every day.
Yes,
And you have yellow, the yellow stripes there, the police cars parked there, and it doesn't stop anything.
well, that's what we're working on. So this, correct. In the past, it hasn't stopped anything, but we needed this ordinance so we can enforce it.
Okay, but then also right there on Victory, the residents are continually complaining. I talked with, Deputy Chief Mullen previously regarding that. They're picking up their kids right there on Victory and blocking both sides of the street so that people can't come down there, and sometimes as long as there's a squad car that passes through, they'll move out the way. But right there by the laundromat is packed again. If you go there at 2:30, you can't move. And they still pick their children up right there on Washington Street where there's a police car parked there.
Yes, well, we're trying all the solutions that we can, and we welcome any input to assist us, but we are trying to have officers out there when they're available, and now we do have our parking enforcement personnel that'll be assisting us once this ordinance goes through.
Thank you, Chief.
You're welcome.
The problem is the ordinance wasn't clear on, it's got to be designated areas, so that's why we're cleaning up the language, so that allows them to then issue citations if you're not following it.
Okay.
Okay. Any questions to the motion? Okay, roll call, please.
Alderman Hayes.
Aye.
Alderman Kirkwood.
Aye.
Alderman Mozio. Alderman Seega. Mayor Taylor.
Aye. There being no old business or any public comment on this, okay.
Please stop this nonsense. This administration needs to stop taking advantage of the citizens. The mayor ran on how her administration would be honest and transparent. Since she's been in office, nothing's been transparent. Her administration has been using trigonometry on the citizens of Waukegan. In new business, she wants to put a contract bid in her office. The clerk is the record keeper for the city. So if this board votes this ordinance in, you are taking the responsibility away from the clerk. The mayor says she's doing too much, and this is why she wants a city manager. In this ordinance, again, transparency will be taken away. In the clerk's office, there is records. As you can see, the city don't follow its own ordinance. The building managers don't even live in Waukegan. The ordinance clearly states 1 year of employment, you're supposed to move to Waukegan. This ordinance can't be waived. Second ordinance on parking and standing vehicles. This ordinance will hurt seniors and handicapped people who getting in and out of cars. For example, a handicapped or a senior going somewhere may need help. Therefore, the driver gets out and helps them, and the driver returns to the car, and a ticket is on his car. Should the city must use taxation on the citizens? I ask this board to vote these ordinances down.
I will just say on the first ordinance with the contract bids, they can, as long as the record keeping is in the clerk's office, the bids can be taken anywhere. And as for parking, we are trying to clean up the parking for the schools to make it easier for drop-offs, and that drop-offs are not happening half a block away, and we don't have any idea where, these kids are crossing streets and that kind of stuff. So it is actually to help the community, but thank you for your opinion. We appreciate it. Any other things that you want to say? Okay. Motion. I need a first for a motion to adjourn. Alderman Kirkwood, second. Alderman Hayes. All those in favor? Aye. Thank you, everyone. Next up.